Today we are start our research methodology class. This paper title is MEDC 301 Research Methodology 2. In this paper, we are discuss about in this unit, the first unit, qualitative and quantitative research. The first bullet point is concept and methods of qualitative research, descriptive, purpose, process, and types. In this survey method, survey, correlational, and casual comparative methods we are discuss. Remaining three bullets, one by one, we will discuss remaining things. In this lesson, we are discuss about concept and methods, different methods of qualitative research, that is descriptive, purpose, process, and types, survey, correlational, and casual comparative. In this indexing, I will follow the video in this sequence. Concept of qualitative research. And this research, it's a we are classified into three types. It's a techniques and types of studies, data collection and methodology, data analysis and techniques we are discussed, and even characteristics also. Characteristics, qualitative research examples, advantages of qualitative research, best practices, conduct qualitative research. Okay. And before I will start my class, we are entering to educational research. This is the overview of educational research. So educational research is mainly purpose, sources, scope of education, nature of research, and scope of educational research. We are discuss about methodological classification. In this, we are whatever this research methods we are discussing now, it comes under scope educational research. So that's why I am included this picture. So we are entering to the real, our topic is qualitative research. What is concept of qualitative research? So qualitative research always, this is a pictographic diagram. Then we are, so what is qualitative research? Qualitative research is defined as a systematic investigation of phenomena by gathering quantifiable data and performing statistical, mathematical, or computational techniques. And qualitative research collect information from existing and potential customers, or even for our education, we are called as students, for example, using sampling methods and sending out online surveys, online polls, questionnaires, etc. The results of it can be depicted in the form of numerical. After careful understanding of these numericals to predict the future of product of a service or service and make a change accordingly. According to the findings, we are predict the future and give our services or change our environment, or accordingly we can act. For a best example, what is the best example for quantitative research? An example of quantitative research is the survey of conducted. Understand the amount of time a teacher takes to tend to a student when the student come into the school or class. A student satisfaction survey template can be administered to ask questions like how much time did a teacher take to interact a student, how often does a student come into a school or class, and other such questions. So in this way we are conduct a quantitative research with all the students and all the participants. Participants means those who are come to the school, and this type of, and we are collect the data or opinion from the students. So this type of quantitative means more data we are collected from different people or different persons. This type of research we are called as a quantitative research. This quantitative outcome research is mostly conducted in the social sciences using statistical methods. Use above collect quantitative data from the research study. In this research method, researchers and statisticians deeply methodological frameworks and theories that pretend to quantify under question. Quantitative research templates, tools, or objectives elaborated many times, even in investigational. Investigation means we are going to collect the information and analyze. The results achieved from the research method are logical, statistical, and unbiased data collection happened using in a structured method and conducted on longer samples that represent the entire population. Whatever our conclusions, it's applied to the entire population and change our change or whatever changes we are needing the system or anyway based on the results. As I mentioned above, quantitative research is a data oriented. There are two methods to conduct quantitative research. They are primary quantitative research methods based on primary data. Means we are go and directly collect the data. So the kind of data we are called as primary. Secondary data generated research methods based on the secondary data. Secondary data means based on the reports, government reports, data we are getting from the secondary sources like books, journals, and all we are called as secondary data. And primary quantitative research methods are four types are there. There are four different types of quantitative research methods. Primary quantitative research is the most widely used method of conducting market or institutional research. Primary quantitative research is mainly directly market or institutional, or means where directly go and we are collect the data. The distinct features of the primary research is that the research focus on collecting the data directly rather than depending on the data collected from the previously done research. Primary quantitative research design can be broke down into three further distinctive tracks as well as the process follow. They are techniques and types of studies. There are multiple types of primary quantitative research. They can be distinguished into the four following distinctive methods, which are: one is survey method. We are discussing about survey method. Remaining three one by one we will discuss. The first one is survey method. Survey research is the most fundamental tool for the quantitative outcome research methodologies and studies. The second point is surveys used to ask questions to sample of respondents using various types such as online polls, online surveys, paper questionnaires, web interact surveys, etc. And the third point is every small and big organizations tends to understand what their customers, learners that about their products or courses and services. How well are new features faring in the academics and job market and other such details. By conducting survey research, an organization can ask multiple survey questions, collect the data from the pool of customers, and analyze this collected data to produce numerical results. And it is the first step towards collecting data from any research. This type of research can be conducted with a specific target audience group and also can be conducted across multiple groups along with the comparative analysis. We are targeted group means those who are needed for our research. We can go and collect for example, for students' attitude, we go and collect the students' attitude. Even teachers' opinion, go to the teachers, parents, or in the administrators, go to the administrators and collect the data based on the targeted audience or targeted group. A prerequisite for its type of research is that sample of respondents must have randomly selected members. This way, the researcher can easily maintain the accuracy of the obtained results, as a huge variety of respondents will be addressed using random selection. So we are collecting the data from, we are not collect entire population, we are selected randomly and collect the data from selected members. And this is easy to easy to address the using. So that's why we are using random sampling. Traditionally, survey research was conducted face to face or via phone calls, but which the progress made by online medium such as a email or social media, survey research has spread it to online medium as well. Oh, traditionally this quantitative quantitative research only face to face once upon a time. Nowadays the technology is improved and many sources are many tools are available even in online and offline. So nowadays even in phone calls and emails, social media, survey research, and many things nowadays online and offline we are collecting the data. There are two types of surveys, either of which can be chosen based on the time in hand and the kind of the data required. But the survey methods we have a lot of time, then we can go for different ways we are collecting the data, or we are based on the time in our hands. And even second one is the kind of data, what type of data we want to need. We want to need more and more kind of data, so we can go for we need more time also. So based on the time and data requirements, we are plan this, or we are adapted this research method. And second one is cross-sectional surveys. Cross-sectional surveys are observational surveys conducted in the situations where the researcher intends to collect data from sample of the targeted population at a given point in a time. So cross-sectional means different sections of the people, and cross-sectional means even in international, national, even regional, also different regions also we can take it into consideration. Researchers can evaluate various variables at a particular time. So the researcher can evaluate, we can collect the data and evaluate various variables. Data gathered using this type of surveys from people who depict similarity in all variables except the variable which are considered for research throughout the survey. This one variable will stay constant, and the next one is cross-sectional surveys are popular with retail, SME, healthcare, education, industries, in information gathered without modifying any parameters in the variable ecosystem. So we are collected from different this method is we are adapted in different sectors, even in including education, and we are modify and we can collect the different parameters in the variable ecosystem. Using a cross-sectional survey research method, multiple samples can be analyzed and compared. What is the advantage of this cross-sectional means? Mainly survey, the cross-sectional survey method, multiple samples, we can collect different multiple samples can be analyzed and compared. At a time we can compare also, like for example, cross-sectional means it's different countries and different people, different sex. Even in India, different castes, different states, different regions, different geographical locations we can compare. So that's why we can use cross-sectional. Multiple variables can be evaluated using the type of survey research. Multiple variables, different variables also we can evaluate. The only disadvantage of the cross-sectional surveys is that cause and effect relationship variables cannot be established as a usual evaluators variable at the particular time. We are not compare the relationships cannot be established. It's usually we are not established relationship between the different variables. So this is one of the legana in this method, but it's a very good cross-sectional method is also very good for any kind of research or any discipline of the research, particular time and not cross continuous of the time framework, because it's a cross-section means we need a lot of time to collect the data, analyze the data, we are come up with the findings also. It's a lot of time. So for class, so this is about cross-sectional surveys. And next one is longitudinal surveys. Longitudinal means it's a very big, it's a time taken, time scale surveys. Longitudinal surveys are observational surveys, but unlike cross-sectional surveys, longitudinal surveys are conducted across various time duration to observe a change in respondent behavior and thought process. This time can be days, months, years, or even decades. For instance, a researcher planning to analyze the change in the buying habits teenagers of the 5 years will be conducted a longitudinal survey. It's a lot of time, even months, years, even decades, even centuries also. If you want, you can. So that's why this type of studies we are called as longitudinal studies. It's a time scale survey. Time scale. We are taking a time scale within the time scale within the time period. We can analyze the data. We can collect the data and analyze the data for a years together. Even a course, or even a business, even an institution, even a different courses. So in the longitudinal surveys, for example, in cross-sectional surveys, some variables are evaluated at given point of time, and in longitudinal surveys, different variables can be analyzed at different intervals of the time. So in longitudinal surveys, one good thing is every time bound period, or after or before, we can the surveys are the longitudinal surveys, we are analyze the data, and we can predict the data in different intervals of the time. Even for example, for a course, the first year, second year, third year. After first year, what are their achievements? Second year, what are their achievements? After third year, in a graduation students, after completion of their graduation, what is their achievement? After 3 years also, the first year, second year, third year, and we can compare within the 3 years also. This is one of a simple example for the longitudinal studies. Longitudinal surveys are extensively used in the field of medicine, applied science, and education sector. So even common, even for example, I will give you, for even in medicine also, for last 20 years we are in the globe, many different kinds of medicines we are using, and even vaccination for last 15-20 years, many diseases are eradicated. For example, polio. It's a longitudinal study. Studies are they are conducted even in sciences, even agriculture, even in education also. For last 20 years, what is our achievement? Even the literacy rates, the girl-child education, the gender disparity, everything we can with the help of this longitudinal survey methods. It's very useful. Apart from these two fields, they are also used to observe a change in the market trend, analyze customer satisfaction, customers here, student satisfaction, or gain feedback on products and services, or any products or any services. Based on their feedback, we can change it. In a longitudinal survey, we can change our products also. In situations where the sequences of events in highly essential, longitudinal surveys are used. A satisfaction worthy sequence of the events is highly essential. In this method, what are the main advantages? Is satisfaction with the sequence of the events in highly essential, longitudinal surveys are used. And researchers say that when there are research subjects that need to be thoroughly inspired before conducting this relay on longitudinal surveys. And the next one is correlational research. The comparison between two entities in a invariable correlation research is conducted to establish a relationship between two closely entities, close kindly entities, and how one impacts the other, and what are the changes that are eventually observed. The research method is carried out to give valuable to entirely occurring relationships and minimum of 2 different groups are required to conduct this quantitative research method successfully. Without assuming various aspects, a relationship between 2 groups or entities must be established. Researchers used this quantitative research design is correlated to 2 or more variables using mathematical analysis methods, patterns, relationship and tense between the variables are conducted as they existed in their original setup. So we are correlate with the 2 or more, especially two nearly or closely entities we can compare and come to a conclusion and establish. And the impact of one of one of one of these variables on the other, the observed along which how it is changed the relationship between the 2 variables. Researchers tend to manipulate one of the variables to attain the desired results. We are the researcher tend to manipulate one of the variable attain the desirable results. And it is advised to not to make conclusions merely based on correlational research. This is because of it is not a mandatory that if 2 variables are in a signic that they are intercorrelated. For example, correlated research questions are the relation between stress and depression, the question between fame and money, the relationship between activities in a third grade class and its students. So these are the some examples and of correlational research. And the third one is casual comparative research. This casual comparative research, this research method mainly depends on the factors of comparison and also called quasi-experimental research. This quantitative research method is used by researchers to conclude the cause-effect equation between the 2 or more variables, where one variable is dependent on the other independent variables, where one variable is dependent on the other independent variable. The independent variable is established but not manipulated, and its impact on the dependent variable is observed. These variables or groups must be formed as they exist in the natural setup, as the dependent and independent variables will always exist in group. It is advised that the conclusions are carefully established by keeping all the factors in mind. And also, casual comparative research is not a restricted to the statistical analysis of 2 variables, but extends to analyzing how various variables or groups change under the influence of same change. This research is conducted irrespective of the types of relation that exist between 2 or more variables. The correlation between 2 or more variables. Statistical analysis are used to distinctly present in the outcome obtained using the quantitative research method. For example of casual comparative research questions are the impact of correlation on teenager, the effect of good education on fishermen, and the effect of substantial educational facilities provision in the village of India or villages of India. These are the some casual comparative research questions or type of research areas. Some of the examples. And fourth one is, this is very important, and everybody's some doubt is there, experimental research. Even in our field, in education is also we can conduct experimental research also. You don't think the experimental research only for sciences, even social sciences, and especially in education is also very useful. As known as true experimentation, the research method is reliant on theory. Any experimental research completely based on one theory. Based on the theory, we can conduct the research. Without theory, we cannot conduct the research. Experimental research, as the name suggests, is usually based on one or more theories. This theory is not been proven in the past, and it's merely a supposition. In experimental research, an analysis is done around providing or disproving the statement. You can try to prove or disproving the theory or statements. This research method is used in natural sciences, and traditional research methods are more effective than modern techniques. And then there can be a multiple theories in experimental research. A theory is statement that can be verified or refuted or refused or not accepted. After establishing this statement, effects are made to understand whether it is valid or invalid. This type of quantitative research method is merely used in natural or social sciences, as there are various statements which needs to provide right or wrong. This method, the experimental research method, it's some of the important points. Traditional research methods are more effective than modern techniques. Traditional research methods are more effective than modern techniques. Systematic teaching schedules helps children who find it hard to cope up with the courses. And this is also, and it is a boon to have responsible, nourishing staff for aligning parents. And this is, we're already discussed about the 4 types of different research methods, already we are discussed 4 types of different methods. Then how to collect the data for this quantitative research methods, data collection for the quantitative data methodologies. What are the methodologies are there? The second major step in primary quantitative research is data collection. Data collection can be divided into sampling methods and data collection with the use of surveys and polls. Data collection methodologies, sampling methods. There are 2 main sampling methods for quantitative research: probability and non-probability sampling. And now we are discussing about probability sampling. What is probability sampling? A theory of probability is used to filter individuals from a population and created samples in probability sampling. Participants of a sample are chosen a random selection process. Each member of the targeted audience has an equal opportunity to be selected in the sample. This type of sampling technique we are called as probability sampling technique. There are 4 main types of probability sampling. So here the 4 types. The simple random sampling, as the name indicates, simple random sampling is nothing but a random selection of elements for a sample. The sampling technique is implemented where the target population is considered a large. And these 4 types are there. First one is simple random sampling. Second one is stratified random sampling. In the stratified random sampling method, a large population is divided into 2 groups, strata, and members of the sample are chosen randomly from the strata. The various strata should ideally not overlap one another. You can stratified. We can the stratified random sample. The stratified random sample method, large population is divided into 2 groups, and members of the sample are chosen randomly from the strata. The various strata should be identically not overlap. In these 2 groups, it's not an overlap for the collect the data. And next one is cluster sampling. Cluster sampling is a probability sampling method using which the main segment is divided into clusters, usually using geographic and demographic segmentation. This cluster sampling based on the geographic and demographic segmentation. Based on the segmentation, we are collecting data. Next one, systematic sampling. Systematic sampling is a technique where the starting point of the sample is chosen randomly and all the other elements are chosen using the fixed interval. The intervals is calculated by the dividing the population size by the targeted sample. So systematic means systemized by population divided into the targeted sample. So these are the four main important probability sampling methods. The first one is simple random, Stratford random sampling. Third one is cluster sampling. Fourth one is systematic sampling. That is for probability sampling. The second one is non-probability sampling. Non-probability sampling is where the researchers' knowledge and experience are used to create a sample. Because of the involvement of the researcher, not all the members of a targeted population have an equal probability of being selected to be a part of a sample. In this, we are having 5 types are there. Convenience sampling based on our convenience. So convenience means in this in this title is there convenience sample. In the convenience sampling, elements of the sample are chosen only due to one prime reason. Their proximity to a researcher, the sample are quick and easy to implement as there is no other parameter of selection individuals. And second one is consecutive sampling. Consecutive sampling is a quite similar to convenience sampling, except for the fact that researchers can choose a single element or group of sample and conduct research continuously over a significant period and then perform the same process with other sample. And the third one is quota sample. Using the quota sample, researchers can select elements using their knowledge of target, traits, and personalities from strata. Members of the various strata can then be chosen to be a part of the sample as per the researcher's understanding. And the fourth one is snowball. Snowball sampling is conducted with the target audience which are difficult to contact and get information. It is popular in the cases where the target audience for research is rare to put together. This is a snowball is another different kind. So we are rare to put together and collect the data. This type of sampling is we are called as snowball. Snowball means we are collecting a sample and sampling in different form. And judgmental sampling. Judgmental sampling is a non-probability sampling method where the sample are created and collected and based on the skills and other things. So these are the main 5 non-probability sampling methods. Data collection and methodologies using for surveys and polls. So this is also for the data collecting methods. Data collection methodologies using surveys and polls. What type of surveys and polls? Once this sample is determined, when their surveys or polls are distributed to collect the data for quantitative research using surveys for primary quantitative research. Surveys are mainly for primary means primary data collection and primary data research, qualitative research. A survey is defined as a research method used for collecting data from the predefined group or respondents to given information and insights on various topics of interest. The ease of the survey distribution and the wide number of the people it can reach depend on the research time and research objectives make it one of the most important. Research objective make it one of the most important aspects of the conducting qualitative outcome research. And fundamental level of measurement. And in this, for measurement, we are using different types of scales. nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scales. So this is I will give you. So this is a part of research. So that's why I will give you the information related to these scales also. There are 4 measurement scales that are fundamental to creating a multiple choice questions in the survey. They are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio measurement scales, without the fundamentals of which no multiple choice questions can be carried. Hence, it is crucial to understand these levels of measurement to be able to develop a robust survey. Use different question types in this for this measurement. We are using different types of questions. Can go through and survey distribution and survey collection. How to collect the how to distribute the survey and survey data collection. How to collect the data in qualitative or even especially for surveys. And this I'm already given 5 to 6 types emails by respondents, embedded survey on website, social distribution, QR codes nowadays, SMS surveys, Question Pro apps nowadays. So many apps are technologies are used for this data collection, emails by representatives, embedded survey websites, social distribution, QR codes also. And next one is surveys and Question Pro apps also. Nowadays, everybody in our gadgets, we are seen in even in websites or maybe anywhere, this kind of surveys and data collection tools are used. And survey examples are many examples are there. So I'm already give one or two examples. You can go through it. And data analysis techniques. For data analysis, we are using a different kind of techniques we are using for segregate the data. In this, I want to tell you it's a 4 types: SWOT analysis, conjoint analysis, cross tabulation analysis, TORF analysis. Means truly unduplicated research and frequency analysis. These are the 4 types of analysis mainly used for a large number of data or a good analysis and good outcomes. For good outcomes we are using. And inferential statistics methods such as a confidence interval, margin of error, etc. can then be used to prove results. So these are the some analysis techniques we are used for this quantitative data analysis. And we're already discussed about primary quantitative research methods. Now it's a secondary quantitative research methods. Now we are discuss about. Initially we are already discussed. The second one is secondary quantitative research methods. Secondary quantitative research are disk research is a research method that involves using already existing data or secondary data. Existing data is summarized and collected and increase the overall effectiveness of a research. Already existed data, we are in secondary quantitative data means already existed data we are taken into consideration or we are adopted and we are summarized. This research method involves the collection of qualitative data from existing data sources like the internet, government sources, libraries, research reports, etc. Secondary quantitative research helps to validate the data that is collected from primary quantitative researches, as well as aid in the strengthening or providing or disproviding previously previously collected data. So this is the secondary qualitative research methods. In this, the following 5 popularly used secondary qualitative research methods are data available on the internet. Nowadays, a lot of data for available and a lot of data, whatnot for everything with high penetration of internet and mobile devices, it is a become uh, it's a large data is available on the internet interface. So this is also useful for our data collection or relevance of the data we can adapt it for our research. Next, government and non-governmental sources and secondary qualitative research. In research, we are the authenticated data we are take it from our help of government and non-governmental sources. It deals with market research reports also. This data is highly reliable and in-depth and hence can be used increase the validity of quantitative research design. And public libraries, nowadays the libraries are give a lot of information, and we will get a lot of data we are collected from public libraries. Now a exponentially used method for conducting quantitative research, it is still a reliable source of information through public libraries have copies of important research that are conducted earlier. What are the research already conducted? So everything is available in a hard copy form or in a book forms or in a report forms. They are storehouse of valuable information and documents from which information can be extracted. So public libraries are a very good source for quantitative data. And educational institutions. For educational institutions conduct in-depth research on multiple topics, and hence the reports that they publish are an important source of validation in quantitative research. So in the education institutions like universities, colleges, schools, whatnot, research centers, they're always conducting their duties, conducting the research, and after research they can document it and preserve it. So that's why the education institutions also a secondary source data. And commercial information sources, local newspapers. Commercial means it's a local newspapers, journals, magazines, radio and TV stations are a great source of obtained data from secondary quantitative research. These commercial information sources have in-depth first-hand information on economic development, political agenda, market research, demographic segmentation, and similar subjects. So these are all secondary qualitative research methods we are using. Once again, I want to give, because it's a very, very important where the secondary research resources are, secondary research methods are available on the internet, government and non-government sources, public libraries, educational institutions, and finally, not finally, it's next one is commercial information sources. And after we are already discussed about different the primary and the secondary quantitative data methods. Then we are drawn from this. What are the characteristics for it? If you want to conduct what is what already we know, we are already discussed about quantitative research methods, different methods, and now if you want, you can conduct a research on with the help of quantitative research methods. So what are the characters you want to take into consideration? Structured tools. We must take structured tools and sample size, closed-ended questions, prior studies, and quantitative data and generation of results. These are all six important characteristics when you are conducting a quantitative research. What is first one is structured tools. What is structured tools? Structured tools such as surveys, polls, or questionnaires are used to gather quantitative data. Using such structured methods helps in collecting in-depth and accountable data from the survey respondents. So these are all structured tools. Second one is sample size. For quantitative research is conducted in a significant sample size that respondents that target market appropriate sampling methods have to be used when deriving the sample to put by the research objectives. Next one, closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions are created by the objective of the research. These questions helps collect quantitative data and quantitative data, and hence are extensively used in a quantitative research. Prior studies. Various factors related to the research studied before collecting feedback from the respondents. And quantitative data. Usually quantitative data is represented by tables, charts, graphs, and any other non-numerical form. This makes it easy to understand the data that has been collected as well as provide the validity of the market research. And finally, it's a generalization of the results. Results of the research method can be generalized to an entire population. Okay, you can whatever the results we can apply to the entire population with this qualitative research. Sorry, quantitative research. And quantitative research examples I'm already I can give. It's two examples I'm already given. Some of the examples of qualitative research are, the first one is, if any organization would like to conduct a customer, that is student, teacher educator in the education field, satisfaction survey, customer satisfaction survey templates can be used through this survey, or organization can collect quantitative data and metrics on the goodwill of the brand or organization in the mind of the customer based on multiple parameters such as product quality, means the courses, sensing customer experience, etc. This data can be collected by the asking net prompted sector questions, matrix table questions that provides data in the form of numbers that can be analyzed and worked out. This is for one kind of research. The second one is another example of quantitative research is an organization that conducts an event collecting feedback from an event attends about the value that they see from event. By using an event survey templates, the organization can collect uh, actionable feedback about satisfaction levels of the customer during various phases of the event. Event means even in education sector, even entire year or entire course or different courses, different subjects, we can in this we can collect the data and we collect the we can do the research also, such as the scales pre and post event, the likelihood of recommending the organization to their friends and colleagues, hotel preferences, or hotel in commercial it's a hotel, or even in a hostel, even in any institution or any institutions like universities, colleges, and even schools also, for the future events and other such questions in this quantitative research we can ask and conduct the research. And now, what are the advantages of quantitative research? There are many advantages of quantitative research. Some of the major advantages of why researchers use this method in market. Market means in a system. In a system, are collect reliable and accurate data. Why we are conducted means we collect the reliable data and accurate data. Quick data collection, very fastly you can collect the data, and wider scope of data analysis. You can collect the data and you can analyze the data due to the statistical and research methods provides a wide scope of data collection and analysis, and eliminate bias. This research method offers no scope for personal comments or biasing of results. The results achieved are numerical and are thus fair in most case. So we are not do any bias, and whatever the results will come, we can we must accept, and we can apply entire population, and whatever needs we want to change according to that results we can change. And best practices to conduct a quantitative research. What are the best practices? Differentiate between quantitative and qualitative, and choose a suitable sample size. Any research if the research is will get good results or successfully complete the research, means you can choose a suitable sample size. Keep your research goals clear. First of all, keep our research goals clear and concise. We are not take much more goals, only concise manner and clear also. And keep the questions simple. When we are collect the data or when we go and collect the data, always the questions, when we are collect the data in a simple questions, we can ask, we can get the data easily. Questions for your respondents to respond easy or understanding easy. So thank you very much. This is about the qualitative research methods and different types, advantages, characteristics, and best practices. Thank you very much. You can watch this video. Have any queries, or you can give your feedback and ask the queries also. Queries always welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.